Like a training camp practice. We went for a couple hours and got a lot of things done. Talked about some of the things that we need to brush up on and haven't had a chance to work on. And it was a really good day. Defensive details, rotations, switching, so details within that, and then offensively spacing. But yeah, it was good practice.
How much of the time was devoted to film, watching video?
We probably watched 40 clips or so. So a lot of clips, some from Portland, some from the road trip. But we needed both, and today was first chance to do that.
Years ago, when you guys would show video, there would often be humorous clips. Is this the time for that or no?
Well, many of the clips were humorous, but for a different reason. We do enjoy a good laugh, and we often show funny stuff. Not a whole lot today. Today was get down to business.
Did Jonathan practice?
Kind of. We did a few things.
Is he just?
I don't know where he's got to tell you where he is. I mean, he didn't do anything. We did we didn't do scrimmages, but we did live drill work, and he barely did any of that. So not moving well. So training staff is working with him, and I have no idea when he's going to play.
What's the most disappointing thing about these last 3 games? I mean, not that they were all the same.
Yeah, I think the most, watching the Portland game, we took care of the ball, which was great. Our process was pretty good offensively. We scored 123. Offense was actually better than it has been. The rebounding killed us, but probably 5 or 6 egregious defensive errors in communication and scheme, just getting back cut, basic stuff. So if you look at the 3 games as a whole, there were different things each game. In Orlando, the turnovers killed us. In Miami, obviously we played without a lot of our guys. We missed shots, but for 3 quarters we were pretty solid, and then the turnovers killed us. Portland, we took care of the ball, but major defensive breakdowns. So I'm not as worried about our defense, as I said after the game the other night, but our defense did let us down in that game. So it's really about putting together a complete game, and that's where practice comes in.
Steve, get back to Jonathan just for a second. It's been day to day for like 2 weeks now. What's the concern level that either he's not progressing or he's still not feeling the way he should be?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just talked to the training staff. They tell me he's day to day. Talking to JK, he said he's not moving that well. So I can't tell you what the outlook is. I think JK can tell you that better than I could. So he needs to feel better and be able to move better before we can put him out there. And so maybe we'll get imaging done on the knee, but we gotta figure it out. We missed him. We play in Miami with missing all our guys. The other night we're tired. We need him, but he's got to get right before he can play. Obviously.
And it's still just the swollen, the same issue with the knee.
Yeah, I didn't talk to him today, but I was hoping that he was going to scrimmage today, but he didn't do that. So it's obviously worse than we thought. But I haven't talked to him about it yet.
How much of the defensive issues are like an effort, pride thing? Jimmy was saying sometimes you just got to take these matches more personally and have some pride in the perimeter defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's some of that. And activity level often just covers up, blown coverage. If you're flying around, there were a lot of clips the other night where the activity level wasn't there. There were several missed cuts, back cuts behind us. Those shouldn't happen. Is that fatigue? Is that lack of focus? Is that, hey, let's take it upon ourselves? It could be any of those. I don't care which one we categorize it as. What I care is that we don't give up a damn back cut with the game on the line, and we gave up several.
I was curious, after last game, you talked about defense wasn't concerned. You said the offense kind of was missing a little bit of its rhythm, I guess, or not much of a flow. How do you find that flow? Or how do you find that again?
Well, looking at the tape, I was actually better with the offense than I thought I was post-game. The process was pretty good. There's some clips where our spacing and cutting needs to be a little bit better. But for the most part, what we did last game offensively is how it has to look. Jimmy had no turnovers. We had 14 as a team. We didn't give up easy stuff, off of turnovers. But coming into the game, we're averaging 17 plus turnovers a game, dead last in the league. So that's the main thing. When you don't turn it over, you're much more likely to build rhythm. And so it's a combination of getting to spacing so that you don't turn it over, but then decision making. And our decision making was a lot better especially after the first 5 minutes. We had 3 turnovers in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Poor decisions, but that's where it starts. Is being solid with the ball, understanding the value of the ball and how much that helps your defense too.
How do you feel about where your bench is right now?
Well, we've been a little bit jumbled with some injuries, and I tend to see things big picture. Small picture, maybe the bench hasn't been as good the last few games, but I look at it from the standpoint that we looked much more like ourselves during that road trip. Biggest problem, honestly, was taking care of the ball, as we mentioned many times. The Miami game, the bench actually started, so that shook things up. We will get there. I'm very confident in this team, and confident that we're going to find the balance and the rhythm that we need.
Not that you can't do what you ask, but a lot is placed on Draymond's plate, and you had said before that you didn't want to play him at the 5 a lot.
Yeah.
And yet you're playing at the 5 a lot. Is there any way to sort of get beyond that?
Well, we're trying to accomplish that by doing what we did the other night, which is bring Al in right away at the 7-minute mark, bringing QP in. So Draymond's minutes at the 5 were actually limited the other night. The difference between now and 10 years ago, we used to close the first half playing small, and then and close the end of the game. And now we're starting small so that we can keep a consistent rotation. But we're playing our centers more during the meat of the game than we were a few years ago, and I'm hoping that can sort of kind of meet things halfway.
I guess just to follow on that, how much, I know there was consideration with double big looks at times, just how much additional thought has there been in tinkering with those kind of looks against bigger teams? Is that like a game-by-game thing or matchup by matchup? How do you decide when to go 2 bigs?
I decided during the game the other night because of Portland's size, and so it'll be a game-to-game thing, but again, to limit Draymond's time with the 5 is not that hard for us if we have Allen and QP healthy. Because either one of those guys can play with Draymond at the 4. It's a little harder to do with Trace, just with the lack of space, but we can do that as well. Al's going to be out for a little bit, so Trace will see some more minutes, but we've got to make sure we get the right combinations out there.
How long do you expect Al to be out for?
You'll miss the next 3 games for sure.
Will be reevaluated in 1 week.
Yeah.
Hey Steve, you got Utah coming up. They're like 5-10 or something like that. Are you concerned with any little bit of a letdown going in as well? And also, can you speak on Lauri Markkanen, what you've seen on film?
I'm not concerned with a letdown after we've lost 3 games in a row, and really good practice today. I'm concerned with every opponent. Everybody's good. Lauri Markkanen is having an incredible run, and he's been playing at a high level for a couple of years now. So it presents a lot of problems. They compete every night. Will does a great job with them. It's going to be a difficult game. We may be without Draymond. He's questionable. So there's a lot to consider, but I'm mostly thinking about us right now and taking care of the stuff that we can take care of.
said Draymond is questionable.
Questionable for tomorrow. He kind of sprained his foot a little bit the other night. Klingon landed on him on a loose bit.
Right mid-foot sprain.
I'm surprised Raymond didn't alert you to any of these injury things beforehand.
Downstairs, right?
Are you guys just finding this out now with my?
So, what are the chances there will be a different lineup tomorrow night?
Well, it just depends on Draymond, and his availability. I mean, I like I said, I like what I saw on the road trip. We had really good rhythm. We're starting Will coming in big with QP and Al. So I would imagine I'll do that, but it depends on Draymond's health, and then we'll go over the scout and make the final determination tomorrow.
Steve, did Al and Draymond get MRIs on the various?
Not sure. Raymond probably should have that information for you. Maybe Brett Winkler would have it if you get it. Michael.
Daryl definitely would have it.
Daryl would for sure have it. Cole would probably have it. Most PR guys would have that sort of information, because it's critical for you guys to be able to do your jobs. Having all the necessary information that you need, which is kind of the PR guy's job. Is that right, Ron?
Yes, whatever you say.
I'm just kidding.
You're passing on Raymond on Baldwin.
It's my favorite thing.
Let's talk about Cal.
Don't talk about that.
Good one.
Anything else for
Sorry if you were asked this already or repeating yourself, but you talked the other day about maybe going to a two big lineup more often. You talked this year also about wanting to try to have some continuity in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
How do you sort of balance? Both of them are logical. How do you sort of balance?
Yeah, Monty asked that, but I'll give you the answer too. We tried to accomplish that the other night by keeping our starting lineup and then going to a big lineup almost right away. So Al came in at the 7-minute mark, then QP came in after that. So we stayed bigger for longer stretches of the game without compromising the starting lineup. So we may try that and see if that helps in that regard. But Al's going to be out the next 2 games at least, so he's going to be reevaluated in a week. And so we have to rethink things with Al being out.
And I guess a related question, if I can. You've always had so much success with smaller lineups. How much more difficult or concerned are you about the disadvantages that creates in terms of rebounding, as the other night showed a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, depends who your small lineup is, rebounding was a huge issue the other night. It hasn't been our strong suit, but I don't think it's been a glaring issue either this year. I mean, we're kind of middle of the pack. But the small group gives us some advantages too. We get a lot of offensive rebounds, from our threes, and we get more pace. And so you always have to balance what you gain and what you lose out on with each one. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, the goal
mentality, and we'll just go out there, play with energy, do rebounds, finish at the rim, set screens for our guards to get open. Nothing's really changed for me in the past 2 years. That's always been my role, and just how to continue to do those things.
How was practice today? First one in a while, right? How did it feel to be back?
I felt great. Obviously, we were to play on the floor. We needed some time to reset, go over some things. So being able to do that, see different combinations, see different matchups, stuff of that nature, I think it's going to help us a lot.
What do you kind of see in that Portland game? You guys got rebounded by like 10 rebounds. What do you sort of saw as the problem?
Yeah, we have a big emphasis on crashing. It's crashing and get back. And if you're a young guy or you're big, you're obviously going to be in a crash rate under 90% of the time. And so that's just something that we need to continue to work at. And whenever bigs are in, guards are in, we can all help rebound, box out. If you don't box out, that's it.
When you guys are watching the video of your highlights and lowlights, What's the vibe like? I mean, because I know sometimes they mix in a little humor, but Steve said lately it's been more about business.
Yeah, I think we are all professionals in the sense of we can watch something, get criticized a lot. We've all been doing this for damn near our whole lives, and so this isn't anything new to us. So being able to be coachable, it's huge, and I think that overall, coaches really just putting emphasis on teaching us, and we know that it's teaching and it's not him trying to get at us. So it's not bad.
What have you learned from Al about rebounding? I mean, you know how to rebound, obviously you're very good at it in college, but I mean, any tips or sort of veteran savvy moves he's imparted to you in that part of the game?
Not even Al, but just Draymond and Lou, it's a big emphasis on getting position early, especially being undersized. Lou's 6'9", Draymond's 6'7", I'm 6'9". Getting position early, knowing when the shot's going to come off, where it's coming off from, are two huge things that if you can get into that position, get a hit first and then detach, you'll have a way higher percentage of it.
It's sort of a related question, but when you're on the bench watching the small lineup, when Draymond's at center, and there's really no one over 6'7", usually that lineup still rebounds pretty well, despite the size disadvantage. How? I mean, what do you see when you're watching?
I think what Draymond does a really, really great job of is tipping the ball. And that still counts as a rebound, but the way that he gets to the ball and then will tip it, especially like a control tip to one of our guards, and not only is it good for us because they can just get it and go, but it's also keeping away from the defense. So him being able to tip it, I think, is like something that's really undervalued with him. He does a really good job.
Thank you. Some terminology things and everything, everybody getting on the same page. So just kind of figuring out some of our concepts.
What did you sort of make of like some of the defensive breakdowns late in the last game's loss?
I think some of it's miscommunication. We're changing stuff throughout the season, so everybody's being on the same page and clear about the changes.
Moses, you guys are going to miss out. What do you think changes the most when you don't have big moves to see?
I think it changes the way we play in a way, but we have a lot of depth in that position. So with QP and TRAYCE, we got guys that step up and carry it over.
Jimmy was sort of saying like sometimes the defensive issues are just you gotta take pride in like the matchup. How much of that do you feel like was some of the issues defensively?
I think that's definitely part of defense, taking pride in it. So depending on whatever specific situation we're talking about, it will be different. But yeah, I think it's unique to the specific possession.
How do you sort of approach rebounding and the need for it especially when you guys play small, the lineup you've had the last few games? It seems like that puts more of the onus on guys like you to maybe rebound more than you normally would.
Yeah, I like to rebound. I like to put emphasis on it. It's something that we can forget about. If you're not thinking about crashing, then you just get back. So going into a game with rebounding as the emphasis usually gets me more involved. Just get me more locked in and tuned to the game. So certain things like that when you're in the paint, good things happen. You can't exactly quantify what the reasoning is, but just being more active, being more attentive, I like that mindset.
I remember watching the Warriors sort of early in this run when they played small all the time with Iguodala and Draymond, obviously, and Clay and Steph. Did you ever think about how a team that small was able to be that successful, and given the size disadvantage?
Yeah, I know any disadvantage is an advantage in another way. So we had a speed advantage and kind of revolutionized the game in a way, if you want to say. Now everybody played a lot smaller for a while, and different trends happen over time. It's kind of how the game goes. But it's just a different way of play. I wouldn't even call it a disadvantage.
What's the difference between watching clips when you guys win games versus watching clips when you guys lose 3 in a row? just the general vibe and watching those clips and what you take away from it?
Yeah, it's more, you dissect it more when you lose. It's kind of, even in good games, there's plenty of bad clips you can find too, but you tend to look at the good ones when you win, and when you lose, you tend to look at the bad ones. So I think in that way, it's a way to get better. You know, just looking at your flaws that you might not have noticed while you were winning. So I think it's just call to action, call to attention. Thank you. Appreciate it.